আজকে যে এসেটি আমি পড়তে চলেছি সেটা হলো নিড ব্রিংস গ্রিড, ইফ নিড ইনক্রিজেস ইট স্পয়েলস ব্রিড। যেহেতু এসের টপিকটা ইংলিশে দেওয়া ছিল তাই জন্য আমি আমার মিডিয়াম হিসেবে ইংলিশেই এসেটি লিখেছি, কিন্তু আমি এই মুহূর্তে বলবার আগে মানে থরলি রিড আউট করবার আগে একবার জাস্ট কি পয়েন্টগুলো আমি বলে নিতে চাই। এসেটি লিখবার সময় যে ভাবনাটি আমার মাথার মধ্যে ছিল তা হলো যে এই যে গ্রিড বা লোভ, এই বিষয়টা যেটা আমাদের ষড়রিপুর মধ্যেও একটা রিপু বটে, এই বিষয়টার উত্থান কোথা থেকে, তার হিস্টোরিওসিটি কী, তা মানে সেই জিনিসটা একদিনে তো সোসাইটিতে তৈরি হয়ে যায়নি। এইটা একটা ধরবার চেষ্টা করেছি। আর একটা ধরবার চেষ্টা করেছি যে এই যে চাহিদা বা লাগাম ছাড়া চাহিদা বলতে পারি, সেইটা পিছনে তার অর্থনৈতিক মানে সোশিও ইকোনমিক যে অংশ মানে আর্থসামাজিক পরিস্থিতি যে দায়ী, সেইটাকে খানিক দূর ধরবার চেষ্টা করেছি। আমি আশা করছি যে আমি গোটা লেখাটার মধ্যে দিয়ে আমার এই ভাবনা দুটিকে পরিস্ফুট করতে পারবো। তো আমি চলে যাচ্ছি এসেটি পড়ার দিকে। The very topic of the essay contains signifiers like need, greed, and spoil, which, being associated to more abstract ideas as signified, can form numerous meanings and interpretations which are chiefly contextualized and perception bound. Therefore, the gap between several lexims of a lexicon depends on the viewpoints and social perception which are adjacent to the perceived reality of an individual in a particular context, which is shaped by social factors like class, caste, identity, etc. In an already fragmented society where there are numbers of divisions in terms of historical oppression, domination, inequalities, unequal distribution of labor and wealth, religion, trickle-down sense of social freedom that is inextricably attached to consumerism, etc., which an imposed false consciousness of unification in the name of identical groups, religion, or nations, through which the feeble, already much polarized economy struggles to find some durability and unified moral sense with a singular rigid meaning like the topic itself, is nothing but a reverie. Necessity is the primary impetus behind all inventions, has remained as an historical fact since the invention of fire, wheel or metal, and farming in the history of human civilization. It is after the learning of farming and cultivation which not only has been able to put an end to the uncertainty of availability of food, but also with the idea of possessing and inheritance of the generated surplus, thereby depriving others. The signifier need gets a shift with a signifier that is more associated to power. Thus, with a tendency of centralization of wealth emerges the idea of greed. Therefore, knowledge and education in a society which has been strictly in possession by the upper caste and upper class for ages, the top-down moral sense derived out of the privileges discourse, thus seemingly dictating truth of the rigid morality, stands effectively decaying and vague as mere a shaded reality. Although with a very casual view of today's society, it is taught to unlearn the fact that increasing of need being associated with greed is pushing the society towards an impending doom. With massively increasing of productions of things on one hand and the degradation of nature and natural elements on the other, our hard purchased ease of life is actually heading us towards several natural disasters. It would be an indiscretion to mark the tendency in light of the fourth of the Srirupa বা ষড়রিপু, or which the Bible would call one of the seven old sins, gluttony or greed or human beings in common, as it has been being nurtured as socio-economic and cultural norm by a powerful few from whom greed trickles down as imitative cultural output. It is notable that greed has been recognizable only in cases it tries to harm the political and economic structure. The contributing part of greed to the society has hardly been recognized, rather it understood as norm. For example, in a monarchy warfare to usurp others' kingdom, systems of dowry and stealing, all of these facts are presupposed with human nature of greed, while stealing has always been a punishable offense as it goes against the key condition of the social structure, that is possession and inheritance. But dowry remains as social norm, and usurping of kingdom is glorified. The effect of the changing economy from feudal to capitalist or neoliberal, first through industrial revolution and later in terms of opening up the market worldwide, has its effect on the changing concept of need. A globalized society, unlike in a feudal society, has far more scope to reproduce the needs and means of production globally that centers around connecting the individuals as functional and consuming unit within the structure. But the controlling of production and sale or consumption in terms of monetary equations destined to generation of profit, resulting in utter polarization of wealth and draining of labor, consumerism and poverty as offshoots, remains in possession of the few. The very tendency of centralization of wealth or personalization of profit has its trickle-down effect upon the middle class, who are serving the purpose of the upper class as functional apparatus, both ideological and repressive, is given sheer importance by the market because of their capability of consumption. A cultural practice of imitation of the upper class which contributes to the fixation of class identity of the middle class. Even the otherized labor or economic class or the person or group who produces is not free from the culture of consumerism. The market, in order to expand to generate more profit, pushes the culture of consumerism to a certain level, which the stereotype class divisions and identity is much disturbed. But the competitive psyche amongst people from various backgrounds for more and more consumption prevails, as consuming is considered to be one of the key determining factors of class identity. Therefore, it is quite clear that need does not represent something holistic, rather it is layered and variable with certain differences. For example, a random food delivery guy's need for a smartphone or a bike is resultant of consumerism that the market pushes, at the same time remains as basic necessities too for the job. But their opt for basic necessary things with certain brand value is the resultant of consumerism as culture, whereas the fact that their earning supposedly 12k or 13k per month marks their poverty, as their labor is immediately dissociated from them and thus exploited to generate profit, which is exclusively subject to be possessed by the big corporate or the upper class, while the draining leaves them struggling and uncertain to cope up with their day-to-day needs as a precondition to make them bound to provide more labor. Need is neither derived of collective homogeneous affinity, rather depends upon either the subjective reality of the individuals or on the cultural context, whereas greed is closely associated to the culture of consumerism sponsored by the present economic structure. Therefore, greed is also not homogeneous, as the effect of increasing needs or greed is not equally effective on the largely varied subjective reality of the individuals. Need can be produced, controlled and reproduced by those who remain at the center of the economic structure, whereas greed is more a cultural phenomenon that individuals feature than that of individuals feature. People which with much ability to consume if get their ability, human quality, capability, socio-cultural and political affiliation, or their being think tank affected because of much dependency on products that keep on satisfying their increasing needs, should not be considered as the representative of entire mass. People with less or very little consumption ability will also be affected because the overall increasing of needs and greed too, but they are more the victims of changed socio-economic cultural circumstances with differences in degrees of being affected than of those spoiled. Thank you.